What's up, guys? Welcome back to Shadow Crazy Entertainment and the Under the Mask podcast. It's your boy Shadow King, along with.
We're going backwards. There we go. Casually cosplaying. Happy Revenge of the 5th, everybody.
Yeah.
Black Spartan, currently in the dark, but I'll be back momentarily.
And then.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Zemo joining us today. All right. Welcome, guys. Hope y'all had a great weekend.
I'm just very tired.
Bro, I feel that. I hope y'all had a great weekend, guys. Have a great pre-comic book day weekend. You know, it's always fun having a Marvel movie drop the weekend. The weekend of pre-comic book day. So
I feel like it always rains on free comic book day.
Did it rain last year was sunny, and the year before that
it hasn't rained the last 3.
Did it? I don't know. Oh, I just remember being soaked in one before. So
back in my day, back when I first started, when I was a little younger, I was there at 6 o'clock in the morning, getting ready to film and filming the whole day through. I stayed at Rick's the whole day through back in the day, man. Can't do it now. Can't do it now.
Try doing it with 3 kids, and they're all going in 3 different places, and you got to figure out which one wants to buy something and which one's trying to flirt to get a free comic.
You know, the thing that annoys me most,
Nephew learned well.
The Miles Morales books.
Yeah, that's why I said thank goodness I had Joe. I had Joe for a second pair of eyes. I was like, I sit there and told him, I said, look, if you can't find me, find Joe. They all know what Joe looks like.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Like, I'm the one in purple. I'm the only one in purple in the whole store. Go find him.
Everyone, look at the screen in 3, 2, 1. Joe, look up. So yeah, got it. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today to talk about Thunderbolts spoilers, and I mean, obviously, Marvel just went ahead and beat us to it because it's Thunderbolts actress, and the actress has been revealed that these are the new Avengers, and
with a Z.
Marvel in there.
With a Z.
With the Z.
And
we are the team on the Wheaties box with little kitty toy.
Yeah, we are. We are on the Wheaties box. See, hold up. Let's show them. Boom. Wheaties box. Yeah, we on the Wheaties box with the team. So yeah, real quick before we get into it, let's talk about what Marvel's doing right now. So it is Monday. And the Monday after you dropped Thunderbolts, literally 3 days ago?
Yep. Yeah.
And they are already going all across LA and doing promotions and changing like real promotional material, like posters and all that stuff, changing them or ripping off the bandage or whatever and saying the new Avengers. And it's like, Marvel, you can wait a week, bro? Like, what?
Yeah, they Marvel itself posted a video of Sebastian Stan walking around California, and going up to some bus stop and reposting with tape that was already, right there, with the exact same poster. Just, but I do like the explanation by, I want to say it's the director or somebody that worked on the film. Obviously, came out and explained that, it's still officially called Thunderbolts, but this is just the asterisk spelled out.
As long as it says Thunderbolts on the Blu-ray.
I like the idea.
Yeah, please.
I like the idea. My buddy Gray, shout out Gray. I like the idea of the Blu-ray having Thunderbolts on it, like the slipcover, but then as you pull the slipcover off, it says the new Avengers.
Okay, that would be funny.
So I'm about to make everybody.
I'd be careful with that idea. They're probably going to steal it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
All right, so I had a conversation with a friend today, and I'm about to make everybody very sad. I apologize. Someone asked me, why didn't Spider-Man step in to help out? And I told him, because he's too busy constantly reliving the death of Uncle Ben, Aunt May, and Tony Stark at this point.
He's dealing with this little thing called Sony. Screw you. What?
Yeah. I was gonna say that being stuck in the void, he's pretty much living the 9 deaths of Spider-Man right now. He's
man, just think about that. Daredevil, Punisher, Kingpin, probably the rest of the Defenders, Spider-Man, like everybody who was based in New York at that point in time, every hero having to relive their trauma until the Thunderbolts got their shit together and actually won. Mm-hmm. Dear Lord. So let's see. Kingpin's was always when I was a boy. And it's just when I was a boy over and over and over again. Just him and his dad over and over again. Let's
the hammer.
Daredevil, got
Electra's death.
trauma.
Yeah.
Foggy and Electra's death.
Yeah, that's another one.
Foggy, Electra's death. Punisher, well, we already know Punisher's feeling.
No.
Who else? Who else would be active in New York around that time?
Luke Cage.
Cage is another one, yeah.
Oh yeah, Luke Cage.
Feel remorseful.
We're living the experiments.
Like the smaller version of a Kingpin at this point.
Yeah.
I think his remorse might be Pop dying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say the experiment in the prisons will probably be flashbacks.
Probably that. Jessica is just
killing
dear
Luke's
Lord.
Oh yeah, Kilgrave.
Yeah,
Kilgrave,
dear Lord. That's Danny, if he did come back to New York at that point,
asked back at any point in time in the future.
True.
It's like, guys, bro,
can I come back, please?
Can I come back?
I'm ready to be.
I would open the door for him. I'd be like, yeah, sure, come on in. We'll get a better writer for you this time around, so that way, like, when you say you want to learn how to do martial arts, they'll let you. Unlike the TV people.
Yeah, no, because them doing the Daredevil style movement and Born Again, I have some faith if they do Iron Fist, they'll do them justice. But anyway, we're way off topic now.
Okay.
But let's really back in and talk about the Thunderbolts, and we'll get to Defenders another time. So this movie, before we go into our synopsis, just off rip, highest rated Rotten Tomatoes MCU movie in the last 5 years.
I'm surprised by that.
That says something.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy, but I'm surprised by it.
Yeah,
that says something. That also says, and then I mean, obviously it's still just 3 days out, and I usually try to wait a week before the full numbers come through. But Nick, casually, what was the actual?
So I have domestic at the moment. Domestic right now, the weekend for the 3 days is $76 million. And to compare, Brave New World's opening weekend was $88.4 million over the 3 days domestically. So
I mean that's not bad.
Yeah. Not bad.
And then to look back even further, if we're talking strictly B-list characters, like B tier, Guardians of the Galaxy 2014 domestic opening weekend, 94.3 million. And then,
I mean,
one that a lot of people don't like, Love and Thunder, domestically opening weekend was 144.16 million. So you can see, like, it fluctuates. It's clear that, like, big names lead to higher opening weekends domestically. But I mean, Sebastian Stan, Florence Pugh, David Harbour. I mean, Lewis Pullman is not a big name, but I mean, his father was, Bill Pullman, and then you have Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt Russell. So you think, like, it's a decently stacked, cast.
Yeah.
They would do.
I mean,
I'm loving it.
I don't know. I definitely think it falls to the point of what they've been talking about recently with critique from the TV shows, are basically like casual fans having to feel like they have to do homework and go watch those. Because if you think about it, Thunderbolts is a sequel to 2 movies and 1 show. Sequel to Black Widow, the sequel to Ant-Man and Wasp, and it's a sequel to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And so, if you didn't sit through 6 hours of Falcon and Winter Soldier, if you didn't watch Ant-Man and Wasp, if you didn't watch Black Widow, and you didn't know to watch those things, if you're not like us and you're diehard fans, you're going into like, who are these people again? Where did ghosts come from? Why did they kill this person? What was her like?
So 90% of my movie theater.
I mean, more or less, and it sucks that now, mind you. And I was talking to Joe about it earlier. There's an article earlier today, but basically confirms that when Disney decided to do Disney Plus, and they basically said, "Hey, Marvel, we're counting for you from the majority of our streaming content," that signed the let's say decline of quality death notice.
Well, Feige came out and said he didn't want to do Disney Plus shows, but he wanted to play nice with Disney.
Exactly. And so with that being said, now what they're doing, they're scaled back. They're focusing on the movies, and they have split powers. So Feige is specifically focused on movies. He has nothing to do with TVs anymore. I can't think of his name right now. They said in the article, I can't think of it, but it's Brad Winderbaum or something like that. He's exclusively in charge of TV projects only.
Yeah. So Brad Winderbaum.
So now, instead of someone from TV trying to rip and run up and down the Marvel hallways trying to find Kevin what he's doing to get approved on something, they don't have to do that anymore. They just say, "Hey, Brad, what you been thinking about this? Yay, nay?"
And then I'm sure they have like weekly, monthly, whatever it is, meetings, Brad and Kevin, to go over this is the aspect of the MCU. This is what we're building to, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and the fact that they decided that any TV show going forward, so the next one coming up is Ironheart. Mm-hmm. I think they said after 2026, any show that is put on Disney Plus will be standalone.
Yeah,
with a few mentions, but it's nothing that will require you to do homework or will set up for any future movies or anything like that.
That's forward. What I thought they said in general now, that like Marvel's trying to make it where movies, TV, anything, movies included, that you don't have to watch every other movie to know what's going on now in this, which I'm iffy on, because it's like you're still telling a story. So like I want it to connect, but I also understand the general audience of like, I know Spider-Man, but I don't know who this guy is over here. Like, what's their connection?
Yeah. So and that right there is what I was getting at, was that when you get away from telling a grand tapestry of a story and you're trying to stick to standalones, that only works for one shots, or if you're just trying to tell a certain aspect of the MCU. That's what made the Infinity Stone saga so successful. You did have to watch everything previously, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which still is a show they should have kept going this entire doggone time, but I digress.
Agreed.
But again, when you're telling a grand tapestry of a story, that's where the first phase was so successful. The second phase is exactly what we just said. Oh, we're not going to tell a grand story. We're just going to tell standalones. That doesn't work, because as you went into phase 2 and then 3 and then get into 4, it's not the same, because you went from it's all connected to you'll figure it out.
Now, while I enjoyed Ultron, Age of Ultron, that is the perfect example, because they built those solo movies leading up to an Avengers movie, and then watching now, it's like, okay, well, we have the Maximoff twins, we have Colonel von Strucker out of nowhere, and then all this different stuff leading up to it. It's like, okay, well, Iron Man had this going on and that going on and blah 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 blah. So I get it, but I mean, I will say I enjoyed the movie. I think either way it was good, but I could see your point of like phase 2 was kind of like an experimental phase going into then phase 3 of like, okay, we'll clean this up. This is
And the crazy part was, in phase 3, there were actually shows that unfortunately caught the downside of that. I mean, you had Miss Marvel, which was a great television show. Miss Marvel. Great television show, but didn't really get the attention it should have gotten, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did. Moon Knight, again, great showing, but also did not get the same type of exposure that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did. And I always felt, even Werewolf by Night, which for a lot of people did not understand the significance of that and how it was actually Moon Knight's first introduction to the MCU. It goes to show you that this is what happens when you do standalone products instead of just going with a general tapestry story. Because you had 3 products when the so-called we're just going to be throwing content without quality, which to some extent there was some, but I also think there were just a bunch of people that just didn't really like the way the MCU direction was going at the time. But you had 3 shows. You had the Marvels, which again was essentially good. Brie Larson always catches hate. I don't know why. I thought she was a great Captain Marvel in my opinion. But and that's the thing. It's just that hatred. And again, with most fandoms, being as a Trekkie and a Star Wars fan, I know toxic fandoms, and that's 2 of the biggest ones. But that also did affect the MCU, where it's like, oh, well, we got the Marvels. I said, so you're telling me that we have a female-led cast to which everybody loved, but because you had some folks out there, oh, this isn't what Captain Marvel or Photon.
She should smile.
Yeah, so it's just
that movie wasn't good because they had a crap villain.
Right, but here's the thing: the movie itself, it's just like the Eternals. The Eternals wasn't bad. It's just that their story isn't very well known, and I think that's right.
Which, like, look at Guardians 1. That story isn't well known.
Right,
your characters.
But here's the thing, and
it was fun.
But here's the thing. I'll say before I shut up because I feel like I'm kind of talking a little too much. But no, Guardians 1. James Gunn had a solid formula on how to introduce the least likely amount of MCU characters, but he tied it to a theme. And Guardians theme was always music. Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. He hit you with emotion because he hit us all. And Volume 3 was a haymaker.
The theme of Guardians, I would say, is family.
Yeah,
that's what the whole point is, and that's what I loved about this movie too. Was that the Marvels? I guess what's the theme there is teamwork.
It was teamwork.
Girl power. I'm not 100% sure.
But that's the thing.
Teamwork and legacy.
But that's the thing to Joe's point, though, about the Marvels. If every great movie has a great cast and you have to have a great villain. And if you don't have a great villain, or if you try to say, well, this villain is somebody who just has a bone to pick with Captain Marvel because unfortunately her planet was just a collateral damage situation, that doesn't work. Because what does the audience latch onto? It's not like Loki. Loki comes on the scene. Women love Tom Hiddleston. We love him because, that's who we imagine how Loki would be. So that works in the same sense where Eternals, that was also the problem. Everybody know the Eternals. We only know of one Revenant, and that's Thanos. Outside of anybody else, you don't know about the gods the Celestials that actually created that created them. So you see the problem where it gets into is where if your story doesn't really explain it all within an hour or 2 hours, whatever format you're getting, you will lose the audience.
Yeah, he's not wrong. I mean, it definitely comes down to that. Even though the first phase in the Infinity Saga is pitched as just this perfect being, they had issues along the way. We cannot say they did not.
Oh
they just had better structure. And so going into phase 4 and 5, which Thunderbolts is the end of phase 5, if you didn't know. So going into phase 4 and 5 and wanting to tell these other stories and everything, which to me, my take on it and my look at it was, I was like, y'all enjoy what we're getting right now, because back then, before everything switched up, I was telling everybody, hey, look, let Thor have his fun now. Let the after post depression of Endgame and Infinity War, let him live a little bit, because when Kang steps up, it's gonna get dark, and that's what I was telling everybody. I was like, man, look, let them laugh right now. Let them have a good time. Let them have fun. Because when Kane comes, it's gonna be destructive, and everything's gonna be done. Obviously, now things have shifted. I still stand by that. You know, it's just now that it's doomed. But I mean, I don't feel it the same way as I would have with Kang being the one leading everything up. But that conversation, all that to say, it is a whole other video. Which honestly, we will, and we will go in depth on like just the I guess issues or the stuff coming up in Marvel just from back then to now and what's coming in the future. I want to do that video before Fantastic Four drops. And we can do that next month on our next monthly meeting. But right now, let's get back to the Thunderbolts. So I'm going to run down the movie real quick.
So my thoughts on everything.
Go ahead. Let me do my synopsis real quick, and then I'll start with Joe.
So my whole thoughts on the standalone stuff is Ironheart needs to move her ass and come out because she's delayed anymore. She's basically a standalone series because no one remembers her at this point.
Oh yeah, Ironheart. Yeah,
I saw a leak for that. I don't know if it's real or not, but I saw a leak of like what's in the trailer, just a single picture. Interested. I don't know if you want me to say what it is. Like, because I don't know if everybody wants to know.
Where she looks like a Gundam.
No, it's not of her. It's not of her. It's another person.
Okay.
Or another character, I should say.
Is it Rhodey she took the place of?
That's been speculated for just a long time now.
I don't know what that means.
Mephisto. Say his name. Say his name is Ilpier.
Say his name and he appears.
I believe in Mephisto.
Almost on time.
Someone called Eric Voss from New Rockstars. Be like, hey, look, he's finally coming. He's finally coming, Eric.
BD was claiming Mephisto the whole time during WandaVision too.
So they say,
let's dive into Thunderbolts. Let's talk about the synopsis of the movie. I want everyone to get their general thoughts about the whole thing, and then we're gonna go finally into the big spoiler talk before this post-credit scene. All right, so basically, what happened was, Val has been doing some shady shit like always, and we couldn't find out that Yelena, Ghost, Taskmaster, U.S. Agent, at all some point in time have done wet work for her. I don't think for the CIA. Okay, well, U.S. Agent definitely would do more stuff for the CIA, but I think it was all under the Ops Group part. They all did wet work and all did contract kills and all that stuff under Val's leadership. Now that she is being impeached, and everyone's like, "Hey, you've been doing some shady stuff," and that all falls out because the testing done with the Sentry Project, where they thought it was a failure, ended up being a success, but in the success, several people died. That caught the attention. Now she's being impeached, and so she's like, "Hey, let me do some damage control, get everything out of this facility, and by the way, my living witnesses that know everything." Hey, Yelena, I need you to go take care of this one little thing real quick. She's going to steal from my vault. Do that. We'll get you in some live, a more public role because she had been feeling kind of down and she would have talked to her daddy, old Red Guardian. He's like, hey, it's time for you to step into the light like your sister. Do better. Be good. And so she asked Val, to hey, can I have like a more public role, like a hero? And she's like, yeah, sure. I will take care of you. I will set you up with something to do this little teensy thing for me. I got you. And so she gets there. She's tracking Ghost. Ghost is there for Taskmaster. Taskmaster is there for U.S. Agent. U.S. Agent is there for Yelena, and Yelena is there for Ghost. it's a 4-way assassination party, and they're all trying to kill each other, and it gives a really, really fun action scene. It's full in the trailer, obviously, but the whole knife thing where, if I recall, it's Taskmaster throws it first, Ghost catches it, tosses it to U.S. agent. He finally catches it, throws it back to Yelena, and then she catches it. So basically, they're all playing knife toss at this point. And during that scene, somewhere wherever Bucky was at the time, he was like, "Someone's throwing a knife. Someone is throwing a knife, and I know it.
Someone trying to one up me right now.
Someone's trying to one up me and my knife skills."
Which, by the way, I just want to say that whole cut, that whole little camera tracking of the knife being thrown, caught, thrown back, bounce off the shield, caught back. Absolute cinema.
That was
absolute cinema. So yeah, and of course, that scene ends with the death of Taskmaster, which I know a lot of people who cheered at that, and now we can get somebody else's Taskmaster who can talk and be funny and do all this. I'm like, shut up.
Partially, I agree. I'd like to see them maybe a brother or something like that come in with Tony with a Y,
right?
Masters, and now we have comic book.
If we had gotten a chance,
but I get it.
Now, if anybody deserved a show or a special presentation one shot, I think Taskmaster would have benefited from one.
Like, see what happens between Black Widow and Thunderbolts.
Yeah, just to see the work she was doing, actually giving her an actual character instead of just one single line in the movie before she got popped.
I'm here for you.
that was just a. I will say this: that was surprising. It wasn't really a surprise move, and I gotta give Joe credit for this because Joe on GetBit pointed this out that Taskmaster did not get a lot of promotional advertising. They were only featured a couple of times.
There is there was an edited trailer that the scene when they come out of the elevator and they're in the watchtower.
Yeah,
she's in the background, and I'm like,
for all of one trailer. Then after that, they just cut that scene. Well, no, they cut her out of that scene. And so Taskmaster, as far as right now in the MCU, is dead. Now, obviously,
I have a pitch because I saw it on YouTube, on Twitter, and I'm like, this is what it should be. Fan idea.
All right, so her powers are tech based in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
There is room for another Taskmaster. Go ahead and give you a pitch real quick.
So Twitter, someone, I don't know exactly who it was. I'm sure you can search keywords and find it. Someone on Twitter said, here's an idea or a fan idea, fan fiction. She's not actually dead. The helmet that she's wearing took the brunt of the shot. So technically that she could still be alive from, because you only see a trickle of blood from the bullet hole. So then you go, okay, well, yeah, 90% of most heroes in the MCU now have been able to withstand a bullet wound. Sure. Let's just hypothetically go off of that. Well, yeah, they had incinerators. But you know who else survived the incinerator-ish type of thing? Anakin Skywalker.
Oh my God.
Burned body.
No.
Hold up. They tweeted out saying, like, the body is burned. This is how we get comic book Taskmaster. The helmet is fused to her face now. So it's a skull face that moves and talks.
That's the wrong character.
What's that?
That's the wrong character.
Tony Masters has a skull.
Yeah, but his mask is fused to his face. That's Zemo.
But at the same time, the story would work. I mean, there does have to be some adaptations. Now, if they are trying to keep Taskmaster, that would make sense. How she survived. At the same time, the mask being fused to her face would still explain the look. And at the same time, that means that she had to have some type of reprogramming, which goes back to her learning how to mimic hero skills and weapons. So it could
lead to maybe her becoming a mercenary again, which is how you get that anti-hero of Taskmaster. So then maybe down the road, New Avengers or whoever has to deal with her, they're fighting against her again.
And imagine they come back and sit there and say, "We thought you died," and she would come back and say, "She said, did you see a body?"
With vengeance and is like,
"Why did now I'm here for you?"
Right?
Yeah.
Or hear me out. TVA window Taskmaster walks out.
I mean, so the rumor is Secret Wars were getting a soft reboot. So.
Yeah, we're going to talk with everybody because.
But would the TVA still get involved with just one timeline?
I mean, you have the God of Stories, so I mean, that is the main timeline. So
yeah, that's the sacred timeline, right? But I mean, I see Joe's point. I can see how they would introduce Taskmaster via TVA, but I can also see them just still sticking with the Taskmaster that we currently have and just adapt that. I mean, you really can't go wrong either way.
Yeah.
No, you can't. But burning her twice, that's just disrespectful. First Widow did it. Now Val. But anyway, so after Taskmaster was popped, and maybe still alive, you never know all this stuff. But after the fight is over, who should just appear? But Bob. Bob wakes up. He was in a box inside the incinerator. Before you go any further, think about it. Val was gonna torch his ass.
Yeah.
And could you imagine if everything worked out like Val wanted to do, and the torches go off, everyone dies, and Bob's in the middle of being burnt, and he wakes up because you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But
it would have at some point. The incinerator probably would have turned off the system on his box.
Yeah, he was Sentry, and so he would have woke up, probably busted out of the thing, and then there'd be no one to stop him at that point. Or the Void at that point.
Oh, he'd be full on Void.
Yeah. So thank goodness that, in the words of a quote from Jung Muzzy Bridge, now we incompetent, because they found him. They got him out.
Mm-hmm.
After I think it was Walker who bumped into it, and so they're like, yo, who are you? And he just goes, I'm Bob. Hi. And they're all trying to figure out where'd you come from, bro.
Sound like the kid that just showed up in the wrong class, just like, I'm Bob. You do know we're trying to kill each other, right? It's just the whole thing. But you got a point though, because if he did get incinerated, we would have had a full-on Void situation.
Yeah, and Pullman, man, no offense to Steven Yeun. Steven Yeun, I know, would be
tremendous
awesome
actor. I think there's a role for him in the MCU out there.
He would have been
he was busy.
invincible as Sentry, but Pullman, man, he just brings a different vibe to not just Sentry or Void, but Bob. Like, this is what I could definitely see Bob in the original 5-issue miniseries comic. I can see him being like that, just like, okay, well, I'm just trying to get high, man. And I feel like if we had gotten a little standalone presentation, and just having him being alone and acting the way they did in the Sentry origin, he would have killed that role. But what we got with this is basically Val and Ox Group, they brought together, made the Sentry Project. They're trying to make a new Avenger, a new hero, and they went all these tests and they failed. They finally succeeded. The Golden Guardian of the Good, with the power of, in the MCU, it's 1,000 suns, not 1 million. And I feel like that may be a way to nerf him in Doomsday, maybe. I don't know. But they made this project. They thought they just completely failed until Bob comes out. They eventually decide to work with Bob to get out of the building. He's the one that comes up with the idea to link up and walk out and crab walk all the way up the 1 mile elevator to get out. And by the time they do get out, and you see, and honestly, I didn't clock it the first time, which I wish I had. But when Yelena and Walker touched him, they had these little flashbacks and everything. I did not put that together. That's how the what are we calling it? The voiding or the vanishing or whatever. I didn't think that's how it was once. I went in thinking, oh, he's gonna pop everybody and they're gone for good. And so I didn't correlate that until I finally kept watching it. Like, oh, so they're not dead. They're just reliving their worst memories. Some more than others. You get there. I feel so bad for Bucky. My God, he jokes about it later.
Yeah,
but dear God,
I have a great history. Nothing but sunshine.
Both Walker and Yelena touch him. They have these flashbacks to these memories. We see that Yelena, in her early years training as a widow, I think brought another widow out. I guess one who had been failing or hadn't been up to task, and she lured around to.
Or might not have been a widow.
Yeah, that might have been her first. That was her first initiation, where it said you passed.
Yeah. So brought her out to pasture, and one of the Red Room guys came up like, "Ha, pop!" And then with Walker, you see him with his kid and everything, and they're he's sitting there reading the old story. And his wife's like, "Hey," he's like, "Hey, do you have the kid? Do you have him? Do you have him?" She comes in like, "Yeah, what are you doing?" He's like, "Hey, if you don't like how I do it, you do it." And he walks away. And at that point, I knew they ain't together.
What I liked also is how that led to Walker. Like, Yelena was laying down, so like there wasn't really any movement. It was like she was holding his hand in a sense of like, hey, I need somebody to hold on to. Like, obviously that's how they touched. But you could tell after Walker's experience, like Bob walked away and he was still feeling that in his head. Whereas Yelena was holding on to Bob like in shock or in pain or like I need somebody to hold on to an anxiety type of thing. Walker, after Bob walks away, notice they go, "Walker, are you okay?" And he's looking down. He in his vision was going to walk off the ledge and fall down.
No, that would have been seeing that and seeing the how that correlates to the story and how it gets everything. That scene was perfect.
Which we'll get into the narrative of like what the story is being mental health. But I will say it's not the first time they've delved into this in the MCU. Look at Iron Man 3. No, 2. 2, 3. 3 is PTSD with Tony.
Yeah. It's not the first time they dealt with it, but this is probably the best time they've dealt, like the best way they've handled it. Or showcase how to come out of it. Also, Walker, you dumb. Now, any other super soldier that was down there would instead of just jumping straight up to see how far you can go. Hi, you have the ability to jump good distances, and there's walls there. Ping pong, fool. Bing, bing, bing,
I'm sorry, that was still funny.
You're some kind of special, but you are some kind of special.
I just laugh for the wait for it. It was just like you see Elena go, wait for it.
I sent this to a couple friends. I was dying laughing. It's comparing Walker. It's Walker in the elevator scene, and it's just Toy Story 2, and it's Buzz, the belt Buzz. I'm going to let go of the wall. He can't be serious, can he? One. No.
That's so good. So yeah, they get out. Of course, Val has her forces there. They sneak and do some stuff to finally get out, but they can't get. And again, good old Walker, sir, where's your ID? ID yourself. He's just like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, Walker, what are you doing? He gave us so fast on time to do anything. And so it comes out to Bob, like he's distracted, then to be able to get away. And they lit this man up. They didn't care. Val had clearly gave a non-lethal order. They didn't care, bro. They lit this man up, and they were like, okay, hold your fire. And when he stood up and showed them shredded abs, bro, if I'm one of the guys in that lineup, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm out. Goodbye. See y'all.
After you lit him up, yeah.
People can't do that. I'm going. Goodbye. I quit.
But
I don't know nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing. Like,
I'm out. Thank you, Lewis Pullman. See you.
And so that's when Century finally begins to emerge, and you can. So the way they do it is, they tease several times throughout the Void being there by the eyes, because when it's in regular, camera light and all this stuff, there's like a little twinge to the eyes, and you can tell that's kind of like more so the Void like peeking out a little bit. His eyes glow a little bit. He flies up into the sky. I think at that point he reverts back to Bob, but he's still like, "Hey, what the heck is going on?" Then he drops, and causes a massive shockwave, knocks the truck off that the guys are escaping in, and shout out to Ghost for coming back not once but twice. Shout out to Ghost. He could have moved a little faster for the incinerator, but she did come back twice. He's growing. I appreciate you, Ghost. But yeah, so
after the fall, Bob becomes Alice in Chains,
right?
AKA the Man in the Box,
right? And so they're all walking through the desert. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's find a way to get out. And who should show up after a long drive? Yelena's good old daddy.
It's me, your daddy.
The whole time she's like, "No, dear God, no." Oh my, that's the equivalent of your dad showing up at like your college party or whatever, and you're sitting there like you're cool to everybody else. You're having a good time. And all of a sudden, Yelena! Oh my God, no, dear Lord.
Oh, with the Drax timing of warnings. Do not go to warehouse. It is a trap. I was like,
they will burn you alive.
This is so good. And we'll get to David Harbour later, because my God.
Yeah, he's they all hop in. Me. As much as I liked, I liked U.S. Agent in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I thought he was pushed to a higher level even in this movie. Always a Bucky fan. I'm Team Cap through and through. So love Bucky. And I feel like this is Yelena's movie, but holy crap, did David Harbour steal this show? Yeah. I mean, every bit of this movie, every time he was on screen, I was laughing my ass off.
He was a solid point in the movie. I did like the fact that he was quote unquote. I mean, he was the dad, but he really was the solid point in the movie, though. Especially for Yelena.
And it's so much fun that they get together, they hop in the limo, and obviously most of the jokes from that portion we've seen through trailers and clips and all that stuff. And then as they're getting attacked by this convoy, who should show up? Dun 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 dun. Terminator Bucky, because that man came in full Schwarzenegger on the bike, ducking and dodging bullets. He took out the first two vans with the same gun, and honestly,
their own shotgun.
That has to be like a custom gun that he only owns. I've never seen anybody else in the MCU use that.
Sticking out the window,
right?
Yeah,
no, not the shotgun, the grenade, the mine launcher.
Oh yeah.
That's his gun. Like, no one else has that gun.
It's his Winter Soldier grenade launcher.
Yeah, and so he took out the first two. And then he pulls up on the bike, and he takes out the one guy with a shotgun, all that stuff. And he pops the chain, pulls back, stops, wait for it, yink, and boom.
Superhero pose.
So cold. So cold. And then he's like, right. And then and they're like, "Oh, is that Bucky? Oh yeah, we're good." He's like, "Yeah, about that." And that's Walker's reaction.
He was like, "We're good now, right? We're
like,
friends."
That was funny,
and that was so good. So I mean, and he's like, "Hey, so I need y'all to come in, testify against Val. We'll get her off the check, and then you're all good to go. Whatever." Then bing bang boom. And then they're telling him like, "Hey, yeah, no, she's not the problem anymore. Bob's the problem. She has Bob in her corner. We need to save Bob from her because she's gonna use Bob to consolidate her power. So let's go stop her. And then he's like, yeah, you know what? I don't look. Whatever you say, I don't care. Bob, who's that? Whatever.
Right.
And then he gets a phone call. Bob, huh? Overwhelming power? Bob! Okay, cool. All right, cool. But thank you. So about this Bob guy you were telling me about.
Right.
Well, you weren't lying on this.
Then they finally come together, and this is what I say. I really enjoyed this team dynamic as opposed to like the first Avengers or even like Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
It took by Age of Ultron for them to really be shown as friends and coming together and all that stuff. Cool,
having
fine.
A little party together, drinking.
Right.
Because
their strength.
Because of the nature of all these people, just being just so dead inside that they're all super sarcastic in that it's not the old school Marvel way, but it's still funny in its way. And they're just ribbing on each other. Like they lay into Walker so hard, talk about his his helmet that we know from the value of Winter Soldier. He looks like freaking the guy from Up. It was with the full full face on.
Like the hat?
And then so at the end you see he has a hat on instead of the mask and everything. And they're just all ribbing on each other. And then of course you got the super soldiers up front. Red Guardian, again, David is just living his best life. He's like, hey, yeah, you are the Winter Soldier. They love that guy. He's so much fun. Hey, so do we have a plan? He's like, oh, plan? the editing of this movie, by the way, there is not a single wasted space or scene in this movie. Everything is cut to the way it needs to be and shot in the way it needs to be. And just hey, we got a plan? Oh, plan? And then literally a second later, they just bust in through the window. They hop out, kicking all kinds of ass. And Val's like, hey, the door's unlocked, guys. Just come on.
I just put the drywall in.
That part was funny.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then Bucky just like headbutt.
Right. He's like, okay, like, gotta get that one last hit in. Got to. That whole thing from the moment they're finally all together in the desert when Bucky appears to them getting into the elevator. That was absolute cinema. That was
I like the conversation also between Red Guardian and Bucky of like what kind of serum you get? The normal kind? Hydra? Hydra, yes. I have Soviet. Not as good as you guys, but it's pretty good.
So good. So yeah, they go to the elevator, and she debuted. First of all, Val just roasts everyone. I'm like, you know they can kill you, right? Like
Junior Varsity Captain America pulls gun. Walker, damn it!
It took Bucky to stop Walker because he was just like, you know what? I'm done with this. Yank! All right, we're good. Goodbye.
Imagine if he did that, though. Imagine if he just shot Val right in the face. I mean, you have Sentry kind of in shock at that point.
Yeah. There'd be no one to stop him at that point. But she plays her way through it, and she finally introduced the Sentry. And oh my God, when that man walked down the steps in the Sentry suit,
aura
takeover.
Just pure aura,
I like
bro.
the blonde, by the way. Just saying.
And then they pan up and it's like, oh, is this span of time you had time to dye that man's hair? What? Excuse me. He was not blonde a minute ago. What happened? Which I think it's gonna be funny. Because if you notice at the end, like he goes back to his regular hair, every time he goes into Sentry mode, his hair automatically goes blonde.
He's gonna go Super Saiyan.
So he introduces the Sentry. And when I tell you this man used 0.01% of his power?
Man said
he flexed.
Like he flexed on all of them. and they, of course, in the trailers they show him popping Red Guardian out, and we thought, oh, they bet not. And of course, he pulled him back in, which I did not know up until now, which I kind of feel kind of, like less of a nerd. I didn't know he had telekinesis to that extent. Like I knew he could fly, super extend on stuff. I knew he could do energy projection, which they're so lucky that he didn't do that here.
Yeah.
But I did not know he had a telekinesis, and I didn't know that he also in the comics has molecule manipulation, which puts him on par with Molecule Man. Which let's be glad they didn't do that either, because then it got really weird. But he walked
Molecule
through
Man at some point soon.
Yeah,
we could. He walked through them. He Bucky's so dirty.
Bucky was like, "All right, enough of this. Jacket's coming off."
Like jacket off.
It's the whole thing. It's just I don't want to hurt y'all. As you're literally all y'all got one hand. Y'all notice the whole entire fight. He only used one hand.
One hand the entire time. It would have been so funny if Bucky, like after he took the jacket off, he just walked up and did this.
I still to this day love every time Bucky puts his arm on. He does he rolls his whole arm.
I find myself doing that. Well, first of all, my shoulder is out of whack, but I also find myself just doing that when I'm trying to like stretch. I see in the club or somewhere else. It's like, all right. But yeah, he dog walks them. They're like, you know what? We're out. Goodbye, Val. You know what? It was great working for you. If you want to kill us, we'll be downstairs. Goodbye.
Val was like, enjoy your retirement.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, of course, it clicked with Bob. Like, well, hey, I didn't want to hurt my friends, but also, why am I taking orders from you? Because I'm basically a god now, right? So
Avengers had at least one god. You said I'm better than all of them combined.
Right. Who are you? And I legit thought that was going to be the end. But of course,
we thought Val was going to go
always. No, I thought no. I thought he was pissed in a pull of Vader, and just choke.
I thought he was going to go like this, and her whole neck was just going to snap.
Right.
Yeah, bro. Like all it would have taken was literally just the smallest flex, and he would have been done.
Yeah.
Done though. But yeah, her assistant, which let's pause for a second. So her assistant been getting crap from Val all the entire time, but she's been right there with her. I thought Val was gonna kill her when she found out she was talking to Bucky. Like,
right.
I'm glad she didn't, because there's a huge possibility, and I think we talked about it was the director or the writer revealed that this character, I think her name was Mel.
Yeah.
Which Googling the character that you're about to bring up, Mel is a name. It's Melissa.
So it's very possible that Mel in the MCU will become Songbird. How? Don't know yet. Could she already be empowered? Don't know yet. But it'd be really, really cool to have her get her powers and join the new Avengers. And basically be the next Thunderbolts team member, because she was an original member of the Thunderbolts under the name. First, she was screaming Mimi. Yep. Then she became Songbird, and I'll be really, really, really interested to see if they do that. I don't think she was on the long list of chairs for Doomsday, but
she did say she
was on the long list of post credits. See, I'm not one of those fans that is a part of this, but I know there's a lot of fans out there going, "Oh, these post credit scenes, they're not happening. Like nothing's coming from it." I don't care. It's gonna come at some point. Let them be.
Right, bro. Like, be patient.
But it's completely okay to sit in a movie theater till the screen goes white.
Yeah,
right.
You can sit there and be fine. Yeah. You don't gotta go running out when you see credits. You can actually wait.
Yeah.
But it's not only that, it's the fact that like a lot of fans are out there being like for example, Love and Thunder ended with like Hercules. Oh, well, that's never been paid off yet. Okay, give them time. They're gonna get to it.
There hasn't been a Thor movie yet. Like if he's gonna appear in a Thor movie or an ensemble movie and then build off of that. Like, shut up.
I mean, it's just like Loki when Loki looked at Thor at Infinity War and said, "The next time we meet, the sun will shine on us again." And lo and behold, what happened?
Hey, we're gonna be in Doomsday together.
Right. Hey,
I don't know if they're gonna interact, but they're in it together.
Yeah,
that's a heartstring right there, man. That when I saw that they had them sit next to each other and in the cheer lineup, and then I was like, oh, they finally get this time to shine on my brothers again. Yay!
Yeah. And to clarify, by the way, the character Songbird, Melissa Gold is her name. And Screaming Mimi, her alter ego while she was Screaming Mimi is Mimi Schwartz.
Yeah.
So yeah, Joe. Joe, what do you think of the fact of these post credits? Like, are you on the side of us of like saying like, give them time, they'll get it done, or are you like one of the people that's like, hey, why are we doing all these post credits if they're not going to get paid off sooner than later?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm fine with the post credits.
Okay. So I think we're all kind of in agreement there. It's just kind of the MCU people on Twitter that are like, where's my answers?
Yeah,
it's always that one person.
Post credit scene. That's all.
It's always the people that want instant gratification. That's all it usually is.
It boils down to me. Just be patient and just enjoy what we have now. That being said, getting back to it, so Mel comes up with the dead switch, pops Sentry. So technically, for like half a second, Bob was dead.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, the Sentry, Bob, Void, whatever, is extremely hard to kill. As we've seen, obviously he got lit up. He was fine. Yeah, they may have had a bomb implanted or whatever, popped him. That just woke up the Void because at that point there was no one holding him back. And then so we get the little bit of scenes of the Thunderbolts. Like, hey, we're not a team. We're not Thunderbolts. They literally go their separate ways. We got a really, really, really heartfelt moment between Yelena and Red Guardian. She reached out. I'm assuming when she came back from the blip, she reached out trying to get a hold of her dad, and he just wasn't there for her for a very long time. Like, she was dealing with, finding out her sister was dead, going against Hawkeye, doing wet work and everything. And in all of this, like, her being the younger sister and everything, she just wanted to talk to her dad, and he wasn't there.
The moment she said, like, I can't do it, obviously, like Florence Pugh. I don't sound like a woman. I don't have her accent. But the moment she said, like, I think it was something along the lines of, like, but Daddy, I needed you. I lost it. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, bro. Yes. David Harbour, Pullman, they carried the movie. But the heart was Yelena. That's why she's the main character of the movie. And really, really, really pulled everything together to make an extremely heartwarming, fun movie. And so they have this interaction, and then the seeing everyone watch their attention, and the Void pops up, and no, we didn't get no scary demigod-looking horns out of the thing. Void. The simplification sometimes is just so much better.
So good.
Then over. All we got is just the Sentry in the Sentry suit, a dark silhouette with you know it's the Void because the eyes are the only thing that's showing, and we've seen that throughout the movie. And he voids two guards once. Now, mind
did you notice, by the way, if you look very closely when they're shooting the bullets, did you see what happened to them?
They disappear.
It looks like it goes into puddles almost.
Yeah.
You look. I saw the movie twice, so like I focused on that part when it came in because like the first time I watched it, I was like, "Where are the bullets going? Are they just bouncing off? Are they like not reaching him?" I couldn't see, so I had to like really focus, and I noticed it was coming in like puddles.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was really, really interesting to see that. Yeah.
You did notice the hairstyles of Bob and the Sentry were homages to Bill Pullman, right?
Yeah. I did catch that.
I need to look at that.
Sentry is Bill Pullman's hairstyle from Independence Day, and Bob's regular hairstyle is reminiscent of Bill Pullman during Casper.
Yep. Yep. It's very subtle if you just haven't, aren't a fan of those movies or anything. But if you really look at them, you go back and like both side by side, you can see them. But yeah. So Void, 2 guards, and then he just looks down the city. Well, first of all, he voids 2 guys in the helicopter, which I don't care if the Void brought everything back once he was beaten, they're dead. Their helicopter exploded, hit a crane, the crane fell down, started causing debris to come back. And I just know the people of New York, like some of them, especially the older ones, were just having PTSD withdrawals from way back in 2012. Like, oh my God, it's falling again. The attack, oh my God. They were losing. I know they were. Which probably what a lot of them saw in their Void dreamscape. It's just like the devastation that they had to live over and over again from 2012. But the crane falls, and then the team slowly just comes back together. First, you see we got a combo move. It was the only one in the movie, but we got one. We got essentially a fastball special from Yelena and Red Guardian.
Oh, it's also it's based off of the Avengers 1 with Cap and was it Black Widow, where he bounces her off his shield.
Yeah. So we got a fastball special. He tosses her up. He saves a lady from getting crushed by a van out of control. The van hits another car, flip, and it starts rolling. It's just rolling. Another group starts rolling to them, and Bucky pops up. Of course, we've seen in the trailer. He takes the shoulder of his vibranium arm, pops the truck, and bounces off. Bucky's a tank with a vibranium cannon.
Yeah,
true.
Like it's so many things that could have been done, given to him with that arm. It's just like think about all the weapons that Wakanda has.
Think about it this way:
Pulse.
Spider-Man caught his fist, which before it was vibranium, caught his fist.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man also struggled to hold up a airport terminal, like the thing to get between your plane and your gate.
Yeah.
And this man one-armed a car.
Yeah. And just imagine, even if you didn't give him the pulse blast that they have or a shield built in, the kinetic energy built up from the Black Panther suit. Imagine that with that arm. Dear Lord, Bucky's unstoppable.
That's
I love it. That's the reason why they didn't do it. But honestly, if they should have. But anyway, so he stops the truck, saves them. Ghost moves somebody out of the way of the falling helicopter, and then of course the last one to pull back up. This lady, self-preservation, nowhere near. She's just sitting there like, oh, I'm gonna just stand here and hope nothing falls on me. And of course, this big chunk of friggin' concrete falling on her. Who's to tell us? Walker. Now, and I really like this. So if Walker by himself, back against the wall, struggles to get this lady safe. Now, way back in the movie when they escaped from the bottom of the incinerator, they're all back to back, and they were arguing because his plan to save them, if they weren't all well, trained people, would have resulted in the Yelena, Ghost, and Bob's death, because it would have just saved him.
Yeah.
It would have just saved him. He didn't try to catch anybody. Like, they would have died because he was being selfish. Fast forward to him by himself, trying to do what he always does, hold the weight of the world on his shoulder, literally. And he finally understands that it just you can't do it by yourself. They all show up, they push it back. Now, mind you, of course, the heavy lifting is being done by the 3 super soldiers: Walker, Bucky, Red Guardian, and they finally do it. Obviously, you know, the ladies help out too, but we know that, you know, by proxy, that's where most of the shit come from. But you get the teamwork,
right?
Do it, and everyone stops. Like, yeah, you guys, wow! At that point, I think they're not applauding because, oh yeah, new hero. They're applauding because, oh my god, someone finally saved us because we haven't had heroes in forever. Jesus Christ! Like, what's happening right now?
The Avengers are gone. Are these new Avengers? What's going on?
Right.
Yeah. So, and then, you know, they're being like, yeah, so this is what it feels like. Cool. I like this a little bit. And then Red Guardian sees a little child about to get crushed. He runs over, saves her, get this sweet moment, and then, bro.
Oh, I lost it.
Oh, I gasped so loud.
Yeah. That was a gut wrench.
Yeah. He's like, look, little one, I will help you find your mother. Boom. I was like, oh shit. I literally sat back. I went,
yo, that was such a just again, goes back to the editing and the cut of this movie. Again, something like that happens, something is said, something like that, and then just a millisecond later, boom.
Think of it this way too. Marvel has now, I'm going to say this as much as we can, they've aged themselves. They're not ages in like they've like, you know, progressed or whatever. They've progressed in terms of like ratings. Like never like, think of it, I was at midnight premiere Iron Man 1, which by the way, funny enough, 2008 May 2nd. Which
wow,
insane.
Right.
So May 1st, when I went midnight release, I went to go see that. We have been with the MCU since that. MCU 1, what's the first thing you see in Iron Man 1 is he's hooking up with a reporter, and it's probably one of the very few sex scenes you have in Marvel. We've tried to delegate that and cleaned it up a little. And like, you know, it's kid friendly, blah 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 blah. A couple F-bombs here or there.
Yeah.
They talked about meth. Yeah. Well, that's it's one of the few, or if there are two, a couple sex scenes in all of the MCU.
Right.
They talked about meth, and they killed, because obviously brought back, but killed a child in the exact same movie.
Yeah.
I sat there going, what am I watching right now?
And honestly, like, he's right. They've definitely given themselves more time to like age and talk about age and mature and talk about and talk about, you know, this movie deals with depression, mental health, drug abuse, physical abuse.
Yep.
And all wrapped up in a freaking superhero movie, and it handles it. That's what I said earlier. To your point, yes, Iron Man 3 dealt with PTSD, and you know, building and coming out of that, all that stuff, depression, and getting better from that. But years later, they got
really
it right.
Dove into depression, and which, I mean, just a little quick message to everybody watching this live or later on watching us. Mental health's important. You got an issue, talk to your friends or family. Talk to somebody that you can talk to, whether it's therapist, whatever. Right. Someone's going to be there to listen. Doesn't matter if one person ignores you. Go to the next person.
Right.
Yeah.
It's never an option. You know what I'm talking about? It's never an option.
Someone will be there, and if hit one of us up. You don't know us. I mean, if you do know us, cool. If you're watching this after the fact, and we've, you know, views are shot up and subscribers are shot up, and you're feeling some kind of way, reach out. Someone
Instagram DMs. We could talk movies. We could talk whatever.
I'll also link the number to the hotline in the description box. There is someone there who will listen. Take the half a second to think about that before you do something else. Just know that someone's there to listen. That being said, the void is he's there. Everyone starts running. Everyone's getting voided. The Thunderbolts are, you know, trying to escape and everything. And Yelena, who has had this connection with Bob the entire movie, which I'm really grateful they made that connection. Non-romantic, just
a lot of people were trying to make it romantic on social
media.
It
really was.
Like,
just something like, because she understands, like, it was said down in this incinerator, hey, don't talk like that. I understand. Stuff's crazy, but that darkness, that void we feel, you just gotta push it down.
Right.
Obviously, now understanding the real implications of continuing to push that down, being literally in the middle of seeing what that void can do if you have superpowers, she finally embraces it. I think in that instance, because she didn't know. Okay, let me go back. She had to have had some inkling because of the scene earlier with her touching him, getting the memory. But as far as she knew, this way, how it was going this way, she could have died. And
she had no idea. I mean, she might have had an
no
inkling,
idea,
but she was like, "This is better than nothing."
True, but at the same time, though, with Bob, that trauma really was always there. That was the big thing. It's like, oh well, we can't. Oh well, the void's always no. The void was there as part of the experiment, but the void's really a manifestation of his trauma. And it's the whole point where the void was like, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" It's even to the point to where you see the void taunt him. It's like, what are you gonna do, hero? Because you didn't step in when your mom needed you, and of course that set him off. And he's he's literally beating the psyche, and that alone, that right there is that's why I say it was a beautiful way how they did that. You literally addressed the trauma by actually giving it a face versus saying that's what you have to deal with. But yeah, I mean, I love that whole part, and Yelena actually recognizing that, okay, he's basically doing what I'm doing, except what he's doing is going to wind up killing us all. So, I just love that whole turnabout of her realizing that she has to come to terms with her own grief, and she has to help Bob in his own grief. So I thought that was pretty cool.
And the running theme,
funny you said that.
The running theme of the movie, which shout out BD and Phase Hero podcast. He was interviewing. I think he was interviewing the director, if not the writer. I'm sorry. He was interviewing Lewis Pullman, and he actually was saying that I loved the fact that the running theme in this movie is continuously every character is asking each other, "Are you okay?" And their continuous response was, "I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine." And it's drawing that out.
Yeah. Which is actually crazy, but
I'm sorry. It's so good. You mentioned, if they had let that go on longer, it would have killed them. Think about it. If they hadn't succeeded, and the void covered the entire world, and there was no one really trying to stop them, they all just kept falling into their own depression, into their own mental room and everything. That much trauma, that much reliving that kind of trauma, they would have, at that point, the vanishing would have took effect to actually kill them.
Well, that's the thing, though, is Bob stated inside of the void, he said, there is no death here. The pain just gets worse.
Right.
So it would have just been eternal pain.
And could you just imagine dealing with that? But yeah, so
getting choked out 24/7,
right?
365 for eternity.
Yeah, no, both good points from both of y'all. So she finally enters, and she goes through her. She tries to stop it. Obviously, it's a memory. It happened. You can't fix it. It figures it out. And honestly, I love the implications that this is how your mind remembers stuff. You have it in a certain. It's a scene, pretty much. It's a scene that you'll play over and over again because she kept hitting the wall.
Yeah,
finally broke through it. I love the filming of that because it puts to it puts to paper, like if you picture something, you're literally picturing that thing. You're remembering it as a scene, as a image or a video. Like, it's just that, because then once you stop thinking about it, what happens to it? It goes, so it opens up the thought process of, dang, like, is that how I really see my memories, or it really a really cool way to film that. Obviously, we've had mental stuff and other before and all that stuff. We really, God, what's the movie? It's a Jim Carrey movie.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
There's that one, and then also
that one and Truman Show, I think, right?
Yeah, the Truman Show.
Yeah.
So like that it's him going through different things, breaking through. Like that's a really, really cool way that they filmed it. I think they said they were inspired by that. And so she keeps breaking through the walls. The first memory is her first mission. The second one is a training session in the Red Room. She excels because what else do? She gets to go, stand up while the rest get whipped in their hands, which honestly, like, that's the punishment?
Yeah.
What? What is that? But anyway,
it's a way to say, like, hey, do better. So I don't want to get whipped, so I'm going to be faster at doing it.
Right. And so she tries to shield her younger self from seeing it. Obviously, that's another metaphor of, like, hey, like, kind of bury the past. Like, this didn't happen. I don't remember it like this. Maybe it happened. This is a memory. You can't shield yourself from it. It happened. And then she goes to the mirror after she sees Bob, because she's like, hey, Bob, where you at? And she sees him, and she tries to go through to find him, but she ends up in another memory. It's her as an adult in the bathroom. Now, if I really think about it, the way the bathroom looked and how it was reminiscent of the apartment in Budapest in Black Widow. And I think she either went back to that place or something close to it, because it really was reminiscent of that, like, style of a place. And so she's sitting there in the bathroom, drunk stupor, and her nice little jump scare, her dream self attacks and basically tries to force a drink down her throat. And the scene replays, and instead of trying to go at it again, she stops and says, okay, hold up. This ain't it. We need to figure something else out. She finally turns around to the mirror. Bob is there. She goes through it. And I like the scene where every time she breaks through reality, there goes gravity. Sorry. Every time she breaks through reality, it's never an easy landing or never just a walkthrough. It's crashing through the wall, crashing through the mirror, and then crashing falling through the floor. And then she crashes this mirror, and you see just half her body, like, oh, okay, oh, I'm here. Oh, okay, hey, Bob, what's up? And she talks to him and help him. The void itself starts slinging a bunch of different stuff at him with its mind. The curtain wraps up against him. I'm like, okay, well, how did I get out of this? And the funniest callback, which it's not meant to be funny, but it is. So they're saved by Ghost. The rest of the Thunderbolts come into the mindscape. They're all fighting the flying stuff around. But how they're saved, Ghost and Walker looted the body of Taskmaster when they killed her. So, like, they just walked up. They popped her while they were finally trying to figure everything out. They just walked up. Ghost took her sword. Oh God! What did Walker took something off?
It looked like a little, like,
I thought little pocket carrier or something like that, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, really? Like, what is this, video game, guys? What the hell? But yeah, so again, callback, because that sword was what saved Yelena and Bob, and of course, and I think some people complain about it in like reviews and everything, like, oh well, we didn't get to see the character development for Red Guardian or Bucky or Walker, or which I already saw Walker, or Ghost. I'm like, did we really need to? The main character is Yelena.
I saw some extra ones there. So right after where obviously they now have teamed up and they said, okay, show us the worst room. You're in the best room right now because it's somewhat quiet. Obviously, you got your father below you yelling. You can kind of see it through the crack. Show us the worst room. And so he has to walk them through each of the rooms to finally get to the final one, which is obviously the void, where they have to fight the void inside the void. But along the way, the next room they get to is just downstairs. And who's the one that pops the abusive dad is
Walker.
Yeah.
Which is why I was like, all right, John, I see you.
Yeah, definitely. That punch, that knockout was the start of his redemption. You know, hopefully he can pull a Peter B, get his act together, and be like, "Hey, baby girl, can we like call? You want to get some coffee?
You saw that new post credit?
you want to get some coffee real quick? But yeah, so they go to the memory. He pops his dad. They bust through the wall. And I didn't catch it. But Bob had mentioned earlier that he was, doing anything for money. He ended up getting a job as a chicken guy holding a sign, but he was so messed out the entire time.
What was on that?
Is the team in their ultimate climactic battle? They're not fighting the void. No. They're fighting Chicken Bob, messed out, and he's just whooping.
Was it Guardian that said, like, if the chicken hits me one more time? I think it was Red Guardian.
Yeah, it was Red Guardian.
Yeah, that was their team battle, because like they was all fighting together. And hilarious. They finally bust through, go down a little sewer drain or whatever, and they get to the lab. This is the same lab that Yelena in the beginning of the movie blew up to cover, Ox's and Val's crimes. And the two shadows that we saw earlier was revealed that that's how they kind of figured out that he was a success. And the void is sitting there in the room by these shadows, and he ends up trapping everybody, and he taunts Bob, and Bob ends up fighting. First of all, Bob's getting his ass whooped. But he finally gets his licks in, gets him on the ground, and this is exactly what the Void wants. Because what did Yelena say earlier? Don't worry about it. Just keep pushing it down. Push it down, and he was beating it down, beating the darkness, beating the literal Void down. But you can never escape it. And if he had kept doing that, like we saw, he was being absorbed, and it was finally overtake him. And it took not a climactic battle, not teamwork, beating everyone, getting a lick in. It took everyone teamworking, showing him love, showing him compassion, showing him, that he is not alone.
Right.
To finally save the day, and then they all just wake up on the street. And everyone starts coming back, and the first thing first was the kid, like, oh my God, finally, cool, kid's okay, dear God.
We all breathe a sigh of relief.
What?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, just that whole sequence. Honestly, this whole movie, cinema, absolute cinema. They all wake up like, did that really just happen? What's going on? Are you still Sentry? And then they pull what they do in the comics. He still has the powers. It's still there. But he doesn't remember what happened at all.
Which obviously you noticed in the post credits, they had to have obviously filled him in.
Right. And I love that, because that is essential Sentry storytelling. There are parts of the comics where he, does something, rips everything in half, does something, and the next thing you see, or they finally beat him or save him, and he's like, yeah, so why are you guys all here? What happened? And I love that. I love that they kept that in. And of course, they're all like, hey, all right, so Val's over there. Let's just you know what? I'm done. Let's finally kill her. And Bucky's like, we can't kill her. I want to. Really want to, but we can't.
But we can put her in prison.
And she plays them.
Well, I mean, we can break a few bones along the way.
I mean, just don't kill her. Just
she plays them. She is a player in the truest definition. No matter what you try to do to her, to her name, all this stuff, she will play the game and always come out on top. And she did. And they walk through the barrier, and the press is right there. And as soon as they get there, they're shocked.
Iron Man 1.
Right. hey, wait, what's going on? Hey, so this thing just happened. Here are your new Avengers, and dude, the whole theater, which I mean, obviously it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it wasn't an entire full theater, but with some people there, we were all like, wait, what? And so good, and
of course, obviously, we have Yelena sneak over. You know, we own you.
We own you now.
That was perfect.
So that was really good. And then it just cuts to. But there's no like Walker going to see his wife or nothing. It's just literally New Avengers. So hey, I'm like, wait, what the what?
Yeah.
And of course, during the credits, you see
the mid-credit scene was hilarious.
That is so ingenious of Kevin Feige to do that because he knew what the internet's reaction was going to be. It still is like I've seen comments.
The director, it was his idea to put the aspect on.
Yeah. It's not my Avengers, New Avengers,
the hub around the world.
And so every like little article you see in is like, oh hey, I like them, they're cool. And it's just giving reactions that he knew was going to be in real life in the MCU. So the MCU reaction to it like this, we'll have some people be like, hey, hold up. I like them as the New Avengers. I think they're pretty cool. And so it finally ends. We get the mid-credit scene.
The little Wicked box.
He finally, Red Guardian, for the glory, finally gets
he gets his little kitty toy.
He gets his kitty box to get his Witty toy. He's sitting there trying to tell this lady, like, hey, dude, we teach a really good for the kids. Here you go. And she just takes it, walks away, puts it down, keeps moving. I'm like, that's so
me on the box.
But then we get to the meat and potatoes. Now, before we get there,
yes, real quick, I have a question.
Before we get there, question, go ahead.
Preference.
Okay.
Full beard, just the stash in the Wheaties box mid-credit scene, or the little goatee he has in the post-credits. What's your favorite? Because I don't know how I feel about the rotation of facial hair that Red Guardian has in that short amount of time. I understand, new Avengers probably should clean up the beard a little bit. I would have at least either shaped it down or like the goatee is fine. I thought the mustache felt weird to me.
The full beard has to be for me because that's
full beard for me.
Yeah, it has to be.
Just maybe cleaned up, like shaped or whatever.
Yeah, shaped.
I saw that and I was like, we gave him a mustache for one scene.
Yeah. I want the full.
Was he filming like Stranger Things at that point? Is that why?
Yeah.
Like,
we
maybe
the full beard, just not the dishwasher used for mouthwash. That's the
But yeah. So before we deep dive into this post-credit scene, I want everyone to just give their own general feelings after their first viewing. We'll start with you, Joe. After you first watched Thunderbolts, you watching it to the end. What was your initial thoughts, Joe?
This is like an amalgamation of some of the good Thunderbolts and some of the lesser known ones. Everybody on this team, with the exception of Red Guardian, but he got added later, has been a Thunderbolts in the books. This is close to one of my favorite teams. I enjoyed the movie quite a bit, but of course, as I say on Get Bit, I'm also biased. Just because this is a Joe movie. This is a Joe team. So I'm gonna be like just straightforward on this. I am biased when it comes to stuff like this. When it's something that I take a great personal interest in, so that colors my perspective a little bit. Yeah. The mental health thing was great because we do not have established heroes in the MCU to take on the Void. Even Brian Michael Bendis, the first time they took on the Void physically, it took the Avengers, the X-Men, Namor, Doctor Strange, and the Inhumans to break even. Not defeat.
And is that where Jean was the one who kind of cleaned everything up with the telepathy?
Emma.
Oh, it was Emma, but there was like 8. This is where like Jean was starting to come back because some purple psychic energy, which was like debated to be either Jean sending a message or the Void. No one knew which, because at that point it was still Skrulls were everywhere too. So God only knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Emma at that point. But like there were hints that Jean was getting ready to come back too. Yeah, and I would say they did not win; they broke even. So they didn't have the firepower. So of course, going into a mindscape to heal was probably the best we could hope for. Well done for them, because it's an excellent facet of compartmentalization in the mind to help deal with trauma and stress.
Yeah.
Because like they said, this is a good room. There are worse rooms.
Yeah.
It's how we compartmentalize stuff. Bad days, we just shove it way, way down there into the pit of your stomach and let it go.
Yeah.
We're taking the king of the hill route, not the bluey route.
That boy is right. I tell you what.
We'll push it way down there.
You just kind of let it down there.
Bobby Hill is the Void.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Joe. Will, your initial thoughts?
Oh, I loved it. Just to sum it up, it's and I say this because it's the quickest way I can actually explain this movie. It is amazing how you, again, another experiment of lesser known characters in a Marvel filler space, if you will, because we're in a filling space right now between Secret Wars, between Doomsday, and whatever else, Ironheart. So we're in this little weird space right now, and this being the second movie of the phase, I love how you still did the one thing that made sense. You took trauma and you basically said, "This is how we're forming our team." And again, it goes back to the point of you did a great story. You took characters around it. You had your pillar, you had your main, you had your lead, you had your support. At the same time, you had us invested and still are invested, because now you opened up a whole new dynamic. So overall, I've got no issue with this. I loved every bit of it. Red Guardian is, David Harbour is he's been my favorite since the What If episode of him and Bucky. So
have you seen the new video from Avengers
Campus?
Yeah.
He's looking for Red Guardian, and then he finally finds him, and they both.
No. The new one they just put out.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Where he finds Natasha and just like, "Are you standing straight?"
Oh, that's cute.
I'm gonna go find it, and I'll send it to you, Shadow, so we can pull it up on YouTube. Give me a second.
I'm gonna have to go find that. So, while Casually is finding that, I'll go ahead. I love this movie, and I had fun with this movie. That's my criteria for any comic book movie or still that's out right now. As a visual effects artist, as a writer, I understand, the pressure on both parties to put out the greatest quality, and I understand what the actual underlying issues are. Like I said earlier, Disney was the problem, but Disney will not address the fact that they were the problem. All they're saying now is, well, we wanted Marvel to do more, but now I think we should do less. And had things been differently 5 years ago when they started doing the streaming stuff, or just not done that, one, we might not ever have even got this movie.
Very much.
Think about that for a second.
Or a very different version of this movie.
Yeah. Most of these
I don't know if this is
appeared.
the video, but here is a 2-minute clip of him walking around Avengers Campus.
Yeah. Isn't it? Where's it to?
Yeah, put it in our private chat.
All right. Yeah, let's share this screen. Share this.
There's our boy.
I think he's only there for the weekend too. Like he's not a long-term character.
Interesting. They usually do it like when a character gets debuted like that or something like that. Like they usually do it for a few weeks or a month.
Yeah.
He's also got the scar on his cheek and like a little bloody, I think, in the beard, which I'm surprised by.
Yeah.
They usually don't do a lot of that unless it's the not so scary, like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, where they have zombie captain out at Avengers Campus and everything.
Well, I am the world's greatest super soldier.
The world's greatest super soldier.
Well, you know, every time I meet every single one, no matter the location, no matter the time, we meet head to head, face to face. I grab his shield. I say, I don't need shield. He always carry it around like baby blanket. I have shield. I leave it at home. I don't need it. I have everything I need. Right here. Come, let's take photo to commemorate.
This man is perfect for that role.
That was fun.
Okay, I need to get a suit. I need to get the suit.
Same.
I'll figure out.
Like there's part of me that wants to do it.
Bro.
I just gotta figure a way to mat this down, but I'm gonna find a suit.
Dude, you would absolutely rock Red Guardian. But yeah, so going back to that, yeah, just know this movie is great, and you know, I understand the problems, but did I have fun with it? Yes. Mm-hmm. And do I plan on seeing it again multiple times? Yes.
Absolutely.
And am I excited for what's to come?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Agreed.
And,
also,
casually.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree. This has been a very big highlight in the more recent Marvel movies. Well, look, I'll be honest. I'm biased. I am a very big Marvel fan. I am someone who usually will look at a Marvel movie and perfect example, Love and Thunder. Every single one of my friends, I mean, you guys pretty much included, I won't say you shat on the movie, but like you've given critiques, you've done this and that. The moment I saw the movie, I walked out and I went, yeah, that was enjoyable. I had fun. Yeah. Like I am very much like Kevin Smith, where I see a movie where it's like, I will talk about it if I enjoy it. Like if I had fun with it, I'll talk about it.
Right.
I'm very not.
I'm right back.
I'm very much not of the aspect of giving negativity as much.
Right.
I'll give it if it needs it, but you know, I was gonna. I don't know. It's weird because like it's also recency bias too, because it's like, I mean, I saw the movie twice, so I will say that like, yeah, watching it a second time, there were things I missed or things that I like consumed a little better. But I loved this movie. This movie was so much fun, and it's not what I expected. It was like going into Guardians 1, which I think I've told on this podcast before. Hilarious time. I went to go see the movie with my buddy when I was still living in Jersey when the movie came out, and we walk in. All these trailers are for like rated R movies or whatever, and we're like, "Wow, Marvel! All right, showing some horror movies, showing some." Trailers that don't really work with a Marvel movie, then all of a sudden movie starts. And I'm like, well, that's not Disney logos. Where's the Marvel logo? Is this going to be like a little intro and then the Marvel logo comes?
Right.
All of a sudden James Brown walks on screen. They had Get On Up playing instead of Guardians of the Galaxy. And someone had to go run out and tell the cast members of the AMC and switch the movies back. So, it was hilarious. We didn't even get the Marvel trailers. We just got like the movie Guardians, but like going into that, I was like Talking Tree, Talking Raccoon. I know nothing of these people, but now I cosplay a version of Star-Lord. I love the Guardians. I have come to really enjoy these characters. Mind you, all of them we've been introduced in previous like movies or shows, but like I've come to grow even more of an affection for them all. Probably least of all Ghost. But that's just because like we didn't really get to see much of her.
But it's almost a detachment. It's like that's really what it really was. I mean, you saw Red Guardian. Red Guardian just wanted his hero moment. That's all he wanted, his hero moment. Yelena wanted connection. Bucky finally wanted to get justice. Walker wanted to get redemption. Bob just wanted a place to belong. It's like you said. It's just like with Guardians of the Galaxy. That each of them had their own motives, and yet when brought together, it's like they all have their moment to shine. Yelena comes to grips with her trauma. Her dad comes to grips and says, finally gets his hero moment in the sun. Bucky somewhat gets his justice, somewhat. Walker gets his second shot. And of course, Ghost is like we said, didn't really get a lot of Ghost because Ghost was kind of just hanging around. I really thought we would kind of see a little bit more of Bill Foster if she still associate with him or not.
Right.
But like you said, it's that movie to where it works because again, you're not telling an Avenger story, which we didn't know was a new Avenger till the end. You were really telling you really were telling a clandestine unit that's a bunch of misfits that know they're a bunch of misfits, but yet it still works.
Yeah.
That was the thing, that was the thing I loved about it.
And then the one other thing I'll add in is what I liked about the movie the second time around seeing it. So Joe and I saw it together, his first time seeing it, my second time seeing it. When we all went with a cosplay group to promote the movie and then saw the movie afterwards.
Got up to dad bod.
Yep. So I sat next to Phil, shout out Tennessee Ghostbusters, and Tony, Mind Blown FX, was on my other side, and then Joe's on the other end of Phil. So movie ends, and then we're waiting through the credits. So we start talking a little bit, and Mind Blown FX switches over and sits next to Joe, and we're conversing. And this is what I love about this movie is that even if you are a comics fan and it's not that niche, you don't read Thunderbolts or you don't read a Sentry book or whatever of that aspect, or even the general population where, mind you, they might have this thought process of what Mind Blown was going. So that's it. So they just beat him with a hug. The power of love was how we won. And it's no, you don't understand. Go read the comics. And that's what opens up this whole new world to a new audience of, let me teach you comics. Let me show you this is how we did it in the comics. Because it's exactly what it was in the comics. We went into the void. And Joe, I know you're muted, but I think you were trying to add to that.
No, that's not what he asked me.
Oh, I thought he said, what? So he just won because we hugged him?
No, he asked how comic book accurate was the Sentry.
Yes. Yeah, because he said
really what it's like. Yeah.
Yeah, because he said what? We just hugged it out.
Bipolarism.
Yeah.
No, and that was a great point Nick made, because us as comic book fans, that is what we should aspire to do. I mean, if these people have questions, tell them, explain it to them.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to take my godmother to go see this because she loves anything Marvel when it comes out, but she's not a avid comic book reader or even that knowledgeable. She just enjoys going to big bombastic movies. So I'm probably going to take her to go see it, and then if she has questions, I'm going to gladly sit down and explain in simplified terms of how we got to where we are and who the people are and what comes next.
And so this is the Red Guardian. He's from here.
And so that's how it should be done. And all amazing points. Thank y'all for holding that up while I stepped away for a second. Let us, for the next 15 minutes, deep dive into this post-credit scene. Oh my God, guys! All right. So, to preface this, and we mentioned it earlier, the post-credit scenes from some of the most recent movies, even in Phase 3, some of them may have led somewhere. Some of them just mindless fun. This one right here, though, which has been clocked as the longest post-credit scene. It starts. Let me pull this up real quick right here. It starts with the New Avengers, as you see on the screen right now. The New Avengers coming back to their base, and they're just talking about, hey, so why does Sam Wilson not like us being Avengers? Like, what? So they acknowledge that while they are the government chosen new Avengers,
Sam's trying to copyright.
Sam is taking his choice of his add-on from Ross to bring the Avengers back. He's taking that seriously, and he wants to do that. And now,
the new Falcon.
Yeah, I think the issue along with it isn't just the fact that they're claiming that they're Avengers. It's who's managing them. They all know Val is just not it. Just not it, bro. Like she's just not the person to be.
Comics-wise, I mean, hey, she's Madam Hydra at one point.
Right.
And so it definitely delves into. I think that's the main reason why him and Bucky had words. Not just because they're Avengers. I mean, if anything, Bucky is a Avengers Avenger. He's an OG Avenger because he was there at the Battle of the Earth. Everyone who fought the Battle of the Earth was named an Avenger. But I think the problem lies in who's running it, the government, Val, all that stuff. But they come in. I'm going to assume from a mission that might be part of Doom, because this is like that scene from Ant-Man where it is literally a scene for scene from Civil War. So I believe we're going to see this scene. It might be a bit different, but we're going to see this scene, its exact scene in Doomsday. So they might just come back from.
Was it? Oh God, hold on. I know this. What movie had the post-credit scene with obviously there's when Captain Marvel shows up at the end, she's like, "Where's Fury?"
So that was the end of Ant-Man, and that was the Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. And then the next movie is we just cut that scene out because we already saw the beginning of it, and then it's all right. She's been in contact with them.
Yeah, so I think that's what we're going to get. And they're all discussing the whole Sam thing. Them, hey, the government says we are Avengers. Why did they not see it? And then Walker's like, hey, so if they're going by anything we see online, I've read the memes. No one really considers us the actual Avengers. And just saying, they're pretty nasty about it. And so, and in this scene, as they're walking in, we see everyone with the new costumes on. I think the Walkers I don't think Ghost got an upgrade really. I think she
just the logos added on.
Yeah.
Everybody got logos added on. Walker
has a hat now.
He has a
he gets a beret. Yeah,
it is a beret with the logo, and then also on instead of the American flags on his shoulder pads, he has the logos, and then instead of the A star, he's got the New Avengers A on there as well.
Yeah,
Bucky has a completely new costume.
Yeah, which I'm so excited to talk about. Yelena, I think hers is just an updated version of what she wore in the movie with bigger shoulder pads and the logo. But Bucky, let's talk about Bucky. Bucky's outfit
to find the comic
is a direct rip from.
It is World Strike Thunderbolts numbers 1 through 5, 2023.
It is a direct rip from
open the image,
the most recent Thunderbolts run, and I'm really, really excited because it is that run is so much fun.
I need to get that book at some point before it gets too expensive.
So it's in the middle. I'll add an actual thing later, but it's in the middle of Doom. Doom being Doom World, where he's the Sorcerer Supreme and he has conquered the world by being honest and giving them exactly what he said he was going to do. But the story is so much fun, and literally this outfit minus the malleable arm and some other stuff is a 1-for-1 breakdown from that comic. I really love that, and it's great because I had just read that before going to see the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
So when we walked out with the red shirt, I was like, "Oh, that's in the comic. It's in the comic." Yeah,
I already know one person that's already working on this. Shout out Aaron Gaines.
Hey, shout out to the homie Aaron, man. Dude, he's so cool.
No, so he posted a picture, obviously spoiler free, posted it on his Instagram story of like foam armor and looking at how to make the vest. So I'm like, I know what that's for.
So they're talking, and then good old Alexei comes up, and he's
the new Avengers with a Z.
And he has this product placement big jumpsuit on. There's so many different products on it.
Fantastic Four, Johnny Storm.
Yes, exactly. In that exact scene, I'm thinking, oh, I don't know if Chris Evans saw this. That's exactly what he was going for back when Fantastic Four 2. So good. And so they're having a conversation, and Yelena, who is on paper the leader, but we all know it's.
I would say co-lead with Bucky.
Yeah, her and Bucky, because Bucky is the veteran who's been through this before, who's been through all these wars before, but he's the heart and the person who can lead the team logically, I guess.
Right.
But he mentions, and they won't even tell us about this space crisis that's happening. And I'm like, wait, say what now? And so finally they get through all that. Even the mention of Red Guardian riding on the back of Sentry, crossing over the skies, just going up to the sky. They get through all that, and the sensor goes off, exclaiming that an approaching object was coming from space, and the Bucky is whispering in her ear, like, "Hey, go ahead and pull it up. Ask her to scan it." Like, it reminded me of a scene from the Arrowverse where they all finally get together, and Arrow is telling Barry what to say, because they all chose Barry to be the leader, but we all know the real veteran of the team is is Arrow. I was like, hey, and they're like, are we not supposed to see him telling you the instructions? What? But they pull it up.
Volume 3 all over again. Who's in charge?
Right. They pull it up, and it's a ship. And what they say is, it's not just coming from space. It's an extra-dimensional type deal. And then regarding like extra-dimensional, what does that mean? And they see on the screen, the ship pulls up, and that bad boy turns around, and what's on the ship? Call the Force.
Yep.
Man, when I saw that, I was like, no, they're not. And honestly, and I'm sure you guys caught it too. When the credits are rolling and they got to the music, and the last thing you see is Fantastic Four theme, Michael Giacchino, I'm like, no.
That's what they're not. So the first time I saw it in IMAX, and I looked at so Gray and I both spotted it, and I looked at wait, I actually said it to him. I was like, Fantastic Four theme, and he's like, yeah, what? And I was like, did we miss it? Was it like snuck in? So the Spider-Man theme was snuck into Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
I was like, did we miss it? Was it stuck into something? I need to see the movie again. And then I was like, well, wait, before the movie, they're doing this new like Fantastivision that they've been doing like for the last movie or so. Love that. Like the whole little like snippet of like, we're going back to like the 50s of like theming like our previews and everything. So I'm like, does that count? Is that it?
But that does answer the question though, because everybody was asking, with this first steps being in the 60s, how are you going to move the Fantastic Four to modern MCU timeline?
Well, it's in a different dimension,
through the dimension, which I would give my son credit, because my son sat there and said that it's basically going to be through the dimensional bridge, and that's probably where the setup is going to be. As he's
there, he is.
So I give him credit for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, also in the trailer, you see Reed working on a chalkboard, and one of the things looks like the dimensional
bridge. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Now that begs the question, and I was talking to Joe about this earlier. Yes, that could very well be the Fantastic Four on that ship, but it could also be someone else. What better way to take out the audience and introduce Doom than the ship lands and get the new Avengers prep the jets and go find it. And instead of them getting ready to greet the Fantastic Four, who should pop out?
Well, they really don't know.
I countered that though. I countered that.
I can counter this super easy too.
Because I was gonna say it's gonna be Doom. I would say that, but it's Doom's vanity. Doom would not.
He would take over the Florida
Richard ship.
I know, but I just don't want people thinking that they basically spoiled the end of this movie.
Well, here's the thing. So I saw a trailer, or not a trailer, an interview, and it was Sebastian Stan and Wyatt Russell, and they're talking with the interviewer and saying, yeah, there was an outtake to that post-credit scene, which, mind you, BD, I think someone else might have broken the news, but I know his interview came out pretty fast. This is how I found out about it, was that the directors of the next production is who filmed that. What's the only other production? Doomsday. So that was filmed by the Russo brothers, the post-credit
last month.
Yeah. But so here's the thing is, Wyatt Russell and Sebastian Stan said there was an outtake. Sebastian Stan, I don't think, still has even seen the movie yet because he didn't know like which version of the post-credit scene they used. Wyatt Russell was like, "No, thank God they didn't use it because they would have hated me even more." Like my character.
Oh no!
Because the line is after they show the ship, Bucky goes, "What's with the number 4?" And he's like, and then John says something along like, "What's the number 4 or what's the number 4?"
Oh my God!
And that was how it was supposed to be funny. And then it would end after that, and I was like, okay, I'm kind of glad they went with just the serious thing and just ended.
If you ever want to get Marvel heat to the point of nuclear, that'll do it.
I mean, it's funny in retrospect of like just being on set and seeing that. Yes, that's funny. It would absolutely be some rapport that John and Bucky would have. But yeah, that is gorgeous. I love that.
I like the new meme we've gotten with the Fantastic Four ship, where it's like, what's up with that? Pedro Pascal's coming. Well, what's a Pedro Pascal? Well, you don't understand. No, you don't.
He's in everything.
Like, no. He goes on because like you don't know what it means. He comes into your franchises, gets half your leads killed, take what he wants, and then leaves.
Pretty much, yeah.
Can you go back to the Bucky picture? There is one thing I want to change with this suit. I love it. I love that obviously he's got the vibranium arm. That's not going to change. Can we please paint it silver? I am so tired.
I thought there was silver. I thought there was silver.
The silver arm. I love it.
Wasn't there supposed to be silver accents on the Wakandian arm?
It's gold.
No, it's like a bluish. It's always in black and gold.
Okay.
It's like a blackish purple blue arm with gold accents, and I'm like, can we just like paint it silver again, please?
I see Bucky went back to the shea butter from Wakanda though. He went back to it.
Yeah, that beard. And honestly, like, I'm not happy that they haven't like addressed that him actually taking the name of White Wolf. They didn't call him Revolution in this, but I mean, he is not the Winter Soldier. So if you're gonna give him a superhero name, if he's part of a superhero team, he needs a superhero name. And I feel like I hope in Doomsday there's some little small, just a little teensy weensy thing. This is hi, I'm White Wolf. This is Widow or White Widow. This is U.S. Agent. Da da da. And they just acknowledge that. I
can see Bucky just being I'm Bucky.
Yeah, that's essentially what they're gonna do. I just want them to acknowledge it because the White Wolf is cool. But so that being said, this post-credit scene, man, I was already excited for Fantastic Four. I've been excited since they announced it, since they dropped it.
Clearly, I'm excited.
Gets me even more excited for it. I am unapologetically a fan of the 05, 07 movies. They're cheesy, can't be fun for what we got at the time.
We don't talk about the other one.
We do not even what other one. And so
you're probably going to have to know the other one because he's probably going to consult the Council of Reeds.
Yes, that's the only thing I want is I want Miles.
That's the only thing I want is him to be the maker.
Yeah, I want Miles Teller to be the maker.
Yeah. So that being said, the excitement for Doomsday right now is up there. Obviously, we haven't seen the trailer; they just started filming. If this scene is any indication of the quality we're going to get, what is going to come from that movie,
then inject it into my veins.
I do believe that Doomsday into Secret Wars is going to give us the same feeling, probably even more intensified that we got back from Infinity War into Endgame. And I'm so excited that Marvel is getting back to making. First of all, they're excited. Kevin Feige is so much more excited now to be back, just focusing on the movies and putting his hand back into the movies, and not having to be ribbon runner each and every way. He can focus on, yes, I approve this. Let's not do this. Let's change this. He's there. They don't have to look for him. He can approve it right then and there. And I think him being back fully involved harkens us back to him creating in the beginning and the Infinity Saga. And I feel like going forward into the X-Men saga, which it's not going to be called the X-Men saga. And from what I've been kind of glimpsing and seeing online, the next phase after the multiverse saga, after this is over, the baseline reboot or whatever, while the X-Men are going to be the main feature, which he has a 10-year story for, let's talk about that.
Jeez, thank you. No time.
the X-Men aren't just Earth-based heroes,
right?
A lot of
be the mutant saga,
a lot of their stories feature in space. And so we're going to get a lot of space content. I saw today on Twitter, grain of thought, but we know that a Young Avengers style team is coming, whether they're called the Young Avengers or the Champions. But a prominent member of that might be coming very soon is Hulkling. And Hulkling has had a most recent story in the comics, Empire with a Y, that was heavily space-based. And I really, really think that going forward with the X-Men and other projects they have, we're going to be getting a lot more space-bearing adventures that don't feature the Guardian. So the 10-year plan for the X-Men, if you don't include the CR Empire in that, don't talk to me.
Fair.
Don't talk to me because seeing the CR live action, bro. What's his name? Gladiator live action, bro. Come on. So I'm excited for what's about to happen, and I believe you guys are too from the last conversation we had. And honestly, where's your hype level at right now, Joe? Where's your hype level at?
For which movie?
The future of Marvel,
or just the future moving forward?
Yeah, future in general.
Adequate.
Will, how about you?
I'm Dave. Oh, me? Sorry, I was trying to hear you. I was trying to hear over here. My bad. No, I am actually reaffirmed. I was wondering about where they're going with directions to this. They're really trying to capture the old magic back of phase one, which I hope this is the direction they're heading into. Yeah, outside that and seeing what Fantastic Four brings, because that's going to be the next milestone. Actually, July is going to be a very interesting month for.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah,
yes, it is.
Now I think about it, between
3 weeks in a row, my wallet is going to hurt.
Yeah, I was gonna say between Superman, Fantastic Four, and I'm missing another movie somewhere.
It's Superman, Jurassic World,
and then Jurassic Park Rebirth. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be Fantastic Four is gonna be the make or break. Either it's gonna be where we listen to you guys, and here's what we're delivering, or you're gonna take a big ass gamble and you're gonna hope it's gonna pay off. Which either way, Pedro wins again.
Yeah. This man cannot lose unless Gal Gadot is involved.
Right. I think at this point, she's kind of dealing with her own battles. That's a whole other story. She might be dealing with her own battles right now, but that's a whole other story.
That's a whole other story. And Nick, what's your excitement level at?
So I'll be decently quick on this compared to the other two because you know me, I am Mr. Positivity. I can tell you right now, Marvel can do no wrong, and I'm at a 10 out of 10 always, and I will see every Marvel movie they put in front of me. But if I'm being brutally honest, my hype levels, my expectations, I mean, if I got to go 1 out of 10, I'm probably at like an 8.7. There's definitely been some, I wouldn't say misses. There's been some hits along the way through post Endgame, post No Way Home that I was like, wouldn't have done it that way. Maybe do this way, so on. But I've enjoyed pretty much everything that's been put out, and I'm looking forward to the future of Marvel. I will make mine Marvel. I will forever be a Marvel fan. Call me a fanboy, call me a stan, call me a shill, what have you. I'm not getting paid. I'd like to get paid.
Ain't that the truth?
Money.
So what you're telling me is you'd be the first person to get a ticket for the Howard the Duck, Fitz and Simmons.
I will see Howard the Duck. I swear to God, I will.
No, he's not the first ticket for that, and I am. But you give me more Fitzsimmons,
He'll be getting both tickets, so I go
there. I'm there.
Okay, what's wrong with Howard
but
the
yeah.
Duck?
So
what the duck?
Guys, out of 10, my hype level is 3,000. 3,000 out of 10. I am so excited for what is to come. Obviously, and Joe knows this. My brain's not, because trying to come up with new what ifs and we're trying to figure out what could change from different stuff is going to be fun going forward. Having to do not just like 5 phases of videos, but damn near 10. But I'm excited. Shout out to my other channel, the main channel, Shadowverse Comics. Expect a couple more Marvel What Ifs coming very soon. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and spoil it now. So the first one that's coming up is actually from a series called Story Continued, where I continue the story and add on a little bit of episode 3 from What If the Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes died or were killed. They gave us an Earth Asgardian war and only gave us a screen total time of 30 seconds? Mm-hmm. Nah, son. I need a full explanation of how that conflict ended, and I'm going to give it to you. Mm-hmm. That being said, our last little bit for today, and then we're done. Before we started, and I asked everyone on the chat today to create their own Thunderbolts team, total of 7 or 8. And so we'll start with Joe. Give us your rundown. Who did you pick for your Thunderbolts team?
Why did I know you picked me first? All right, so
I mean, you are Mr. Thunderbolts.
Well, yeah, and I went super weird with mine. So with my favorite version of the Thunderbolts, I went with the leader being Luke Cage.
Ooh.
His second in command is going to be Melinda May Calvary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is she in the MCU?
Yes.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched Agents of
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Transportation and overall speed demon, we're going to go with Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes.
Ooh.
Weapons expert, we're going to go with Colleen Wing.
Okay.
For tech and weapons guy, we're going to go with Microchip.
Okay.
All right, so the guy in the chair is part of the Thunderbolts. Okay.
Look, because we had the fixer doesn't mean I gotta get another tech guy. For the Mystics, we're gonna go with Nico Monroe or Nico Minori.
Good choice.
For hand-to-hand combat, Shang-Chi.
Mm-hmm.
And for the God absolute batshit wild card, we're gonna go with Moon Knight. Because we don't know which one's going to go on the mission. We don't know if it's Steve, Jake, or Mark.
No, Joe, I hate you. I hate you sometimes. But then again, we think alike. We think alike. Dang it.
Well, that's a perfect segue. Will, what's your Thunderbolts beef?
Jesus, he had my Moon Knight. I was like, I knew Joe's probably was go the same line of thinking I was. All right, so I had Moon Knight, Night Thrasher, Black Cat, Crossbones, Abomination, Agent Venom, Deathlock, and Man Thing.
Oh, so you went full comic, not just MCU. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, that's fine. I like that. That's a solid team.
I mean, it's a bunch of. I love the fact that it's like two guys that want to do right, and the rest of them are just. You should be cautious at all times.
Absolutely, I love that. Nick.
So I went a little differently on it. Obviously, I tried to go along the lines of like who's been a Thunderbolt in the comics, as well as obviously, I kind of combined like an idea of Thunderbolts as well as Dark Avengers, like people who are trying to heal themselves or put themselves in a better image of the public, and like rehabilitate. So I went based instead of like what you're doing of who's been a Thunderbolt, and like different things of like Joe did with, you know, who's the power, who's the powerhouse, who's the tech, who's this, who's that. I went, give me the 6 Avengers and then plus 2 more, just because. So you're gonna laugh because half of my team is already in the movie. So Bucky, U.S. Agent, Yelena, and Red Guardian are 4 that I'm like, okay, those are staying. I love Ghost and Taskmaster, but I was like, I wanted to build this out a little differently.
Ghost is one of the longest running members of the Thunderbolts. So
I changed it a little bit. So then after Bucky, U.S. Agent, Red Guardian, and Yelena, which by the way, I almost didn't put Red Guardian in. As much as I love him, I almost put Sharon Carter in instead. But I was like, you know what? She's the power broker. I don't want to like go full like change up all of MCU. So those 4. My next 4, Zemo. You're welcome, Joe. Red Hulk.
Okay.
And then these are my last 2 that I think are going to. Well, I mean, the Punisher. He's been a Thunderbolt in the past.
Yeah.
And then I think the final ones where I'm going to blow your mind. White Vision.
I can see that.
Government gets involved. Al's the one controlling them. She's part of the government and says, like, now I'm running the new Avengers in the Watchtower. She has access to White Vision. Bring him in.
Makes sense.
Okay. That could have definitely been part of the feature if White Vision had been what Thor wanted it to be. Their extended weapon. I can see that.
Movie. It's not going to be obviously. I mean, they'll probably take on the Sentry, but that movie of those 8 is probably not, the ground level talk about mental health. This is strictly we're building a new Avengers, and that starts out as Thunderbolts, especially with Red Hulk. I could see this being a continuation of Brave New World, where Val pulls Thunderbolt Ross out of oh my god, why am I blanking on it? The raft. Out of the raft and says, you're working for me now, you're part of the government still, and now you're a Hulk, so you're going to work with me and build the new Avengers like we talked about.
Okay.
You took the words right out of my mouth, because so I literally basically picked everyone we have on the team, the 5. I unalived or re-alived the Taskmaster, so boom, we got our 6. And as much as I love the talk and conversation of you're not alone, be with us, be safe, you're okay. It still would have been nice to see the powerhouses fighting. So I just threw Abomination and Red Hulk on there. You got a solid team of what, 3 actual super soldiers, two super soldier adjacent powerhouses. It's the two spies and one tactical master with the abilities of all the Avengers rolled into one, pretty much. That's not Sentry. Yeah. So, and honestly, with the way we've seen Abomination handled in She-Hulk and his story of how he conned his mind, and I'm basically hippie Abomination, but that also could have played into the hey, you aren't alone type. I feel like he definitely would have followed him for a bit and then powered down, but hey, you're not alone. We're here for you. Come to the retreat with us. Something like that. And then
I love that.
If he had if he had some time to
on my team too.
Yeah. If he had some time to kind of get control over it, I feel like we're especially working with Abomination, which would have been that also would have been a throwback to Night the Incredible Hulk, because it was Ross who brought in Emil, gave him the serum, he got the blood, became Abomination. Years later, Ross became a monster. At this point, Abomination has been fulfilled. He can control it. He's been teaching Ross to control his, to where he's in control during the actual transformation, to where we get a talking Red Hulk, and there's still the powerhouses on the team. And I feel like that still would have resulted in the Hug being the thing that saved it, but you still would have got a bit more action out of two big powerhouses trying to fight the Sentry.
And you would all know what happened versus Hulk again, because before the team finally bonds at the end of the movie, you probably would have seen an Abomination versus Red Hulk of like, you did this to me.
Yeah. So that's my team. Like I said, simple, just adding two on. If I had to pick two other options to replace those two, I also would have done Zemo and Luke Cage, or Luke Cage.
I did not know Luke Cage was a Thunderbolt at one point. I'm guessing he was in a red T-shirt.
No. This was before the Thunderbolts Red. Also, Hawkeye has been a leader of the Hawkeye was when the Thunderbolts broke out. After the big reveal that they were villains and everything, and then they finally beat Zemo and they broke out to be heroes. They kind of sucked at it until Hawkeye stepped up and led them, trained them, and they were good. Years later, after the events of Siege and all that stuff, a new team of Thunderbolts was formed by Luke Cage as a reformation deal of it was Suicide Squad light. No bomb in your head, but if you work with us, work with me, we'll get you reformed and we'll get you time off your sentence. And then after that, you had Thunderbolts Red, and then the most recent runs with Bucky being a prominent member and leader of it. He led the Thunderbolts during the Hydra Cap era, and he's now back with them in this most recent run with his girlfriend, Black Widow, who holds a symbiote, and Yelena's there, Guardian's there. So the team now looks a bit more MCU-fied with a couple because they have Shang-Chi on there. Of course, you got a symbiote Widow on there. So we could have definitely seen.
Unfortunately, we'll never get that. Thanks, Sony.
Right.
We'll never get it. But what if?
I see what you did there.
Hey, I have told. I don't know if I said it on the podcast last time. I might have, because I think we were talking about Born Again. Disney. I got $3. You want $3? Give it to Sony. Sony, listen to them. Give them you can keep the rights. Just give them access to them. Let them use Spider-Man and the symbiote and whatever else they want in ties with Fisk and Daredevil. Let them show up in a Disney Plus show that's live action over a half hour long.
Sony still has the we can do it for like the 10th time in a row. It's like we can create and
luckily they stopped the Sony universe after Venom: The Last Dance. They won't make any other movies after that, other than the Spider-Verse, which that's getting delayed again.
Because they won't Garfield and Maguire will never get their just dues. Not as long as Sony's running the show.
No, nope. but Spider-Verse is getting delayed again because
that
Shamik Moore.
But that man needs a dog. Go ahead.
And then also the Tom Holland movies. Those are the only things they're going to work on. They're not going to do any other spin-offs because they were like, clearly that didn't work, obviously. Right. So, but like, do you want to do certain things within the Spider-Man universe? Has to be done in our movies. If you want, or like a team up like Avengers or whatever, but like it has to be approved through Sony. Right. You cannot have Fisk show up in a Spider-Man movie now because of the fact that there are contracts with Marvel TV and Sony movies. And Spider-Man himself cannot show up in a Marvel TV show that's on Disney Plus that's over a half hour long. And that's live action. Got to clarify live action.
I blame the lawyers.
Yeah, it's money. That's the issue. It's money. Like, I understand it's a business. I understand you want to make money. You're Sony, you're Marvel, you're Disney. I get it.
But Marvel
fans, you know how much more money you'd make?
Marvel went up to Sony and said, here's the thing. Disney went to Fox and said, we want the X-Men. Fox said no. Disney came back and said, how much for Fox?
yeah. That's not happening with Sony. I'll tell you right now, it'll never happen with Sony.
No, don't get me wrong. Sony will never sell to Disney. But you're right. At the same time, much more money could be made if you just simply look. Even if Marvel said, look, if you lease the rights, you get so much of the front gate, you get so much of the DVD, you get so much of the stream sales. Just lease us the rights. Well, the money that we get, the money that we're paying you, we're going to get back on the back end anyway.
Yeah,
but
it's the same thing with Universal and Hulk. They will not do another Hulk movie, and the only way it'll happen is if Marvel comes to Universal and says, "Here's our pitch for a Hulk movie. Let us do it fully with our money, and you have to approve it." That's the only way it's happening. That, or they shoehorn a Hulk movie into another movie. That's the only way we're getting it. Because the rumor was for the longest time we're going to get World War Hulk.
Yeah. Oh, we'll never get that.
Never.
As much as we should, we'll never get it.
Yeah.
Hey. But yeah, so all that to be said,
I had to rant because of money.
That's what it comes down to.
No, I know. Like, it's a good rant.
Spider-Man fan.
And we can definitely talk more about it because, like I said, I want to do a State of Marvel, not the address, but the State of Marvel. We'll talk a lot about Phase 1, Phase 2, and 3, our general feelings toward all of that, Phase 4, 5, and what we hope for 6, and just talk about how everything has come, where it came from, what it could have been, and what it should have been, based off, us being fans of the product, and again, going into the details of what we could possibly be getting in the future. We're going to do this before Fantastic Four, so next month's video will be the State of Marvel video, and then July's video will be a combination, and we'll do it towards the end of the month, will be a combination of our general thoughts and reviews for not only Fantastic Four, but also Superman. We may even throw Jurassic World in there, but
we'll see.
I'm more excited for 4 and Superman. But that being said, guys, if you have watched this long, we've had this. Whoever this one is still watching, you are an absolute goat. I love you. It is probably you. You suck. No, I'm just kidding.
We did. I will say, shout out. We got some comments along the way.
Yes,
on
we
YouTube,
did.
Robert Benson, not Brad, has entered the chat. Well,
not Brad. What's up, Brad? No,
and then on Twitch, we got a nice comment. As whoever Polar Knights is, clearly a barber. They love it because all of our cameras, every stage of beard growth. Epic.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you guys for watching.
I'm trying to grow it back out.
If you watch this far, thanks for watching this long. Thanks for listening to us drone on about this thing that we do love. We have a love-hate relationship with some of it, but it's mostly always love, and that is what it should be. Not just with Marvel, not just with comics, but in the world in general. We need more love, not hate. With that being said, starting from bottom, give your outros and where they can find you. Boom. Joe.
You're muted, and do your little outro.
I have an outro?
Where they can find you.
where they can find you.
They can find me. God in heaven, it's API month and Comic-Con. No one's going to be able to find me. What's wrong?
Joe's a busy man right now.
Joe's address is 1, 2, 3.
No, that's just my apartment number. What's wrong with you?
Oh my god!
You not realize I got the most Spaceballs apartment number I possibly could for that joke? No, you'll see me Wednesday when I start streaming MechWarrior Clan's Ghost Bear, because I will invade with the Space Swedes. No, that's what the Clan Ghost Bear is. They're the Norwegians and the Swedish, built with giant robots.
I love that.
I will invade the galaxy and bring 4-day work weeks, 2 months of maternity and paternity leave, and fair and legal pay.
I'm okay with this.
We love that.
What's the cons to this?
Wow.
Where are the downsides?
You have to be indoctrinated into this life.
There it is.
Do I have to like bow down to Joe? Is this? Oh, okay.
You have to bow down to the Space Swedes and the Space Dutch and the Space Norwegians.
They're like spaghetti monster.
You get a giant robot out of it, so they.
Yeah.
So no, seriously, I'm gonna just be everywhere this month and next month because May is API Heritage Month, so I'm gonna be out and about with Middle Tennessee API. Please go listen and see what kind of fun events we're having. Donate if you would like. That's always appreciated. I will be at conventions in June. I will also have my nerd birthday in June because I'm turning 42. So that means Joe is the meaning of life.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Joe is love.
Or I'm the spider that bit Miles. I can't decide which one is better.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes, there's that.
Socials.
It's not a thing with me. I keep telling you this. You can find me with Will on Get Bit every Friday, except for this week and last week. I'm just not there.
He's there in spirit. Don't listen to him.
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak and malleable.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Will?
Joe Italian last name on Twitch and Joe Italian last name on Instagram. I think that's the one that has the most cooking photos. No pictures of me, just food, which is better for everybody in the grand scheme of things.
Love that. All right, Brother Will, where can they find?
Oh, they can find me Black_Spartan615 on the socials. Shows are still going on. I still cover everything in the world that we don't talk about because that world is a burning cesspool in it right now. But we do talk about how we got here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. As Joe stated, he, myself, and Tafari, we usually cover Get Bit every Friday at 8:30-ish as far as news, as far as video games and the world that goes in. Again, guys, like, share, and follow. As we always say, at the same time, just don't be a dick, and we'll all be cool.
Yeah, love that. Casually?
Obviously, casually cosplaying on Instagram. On the cesspool that is Twitter, I am Casual Cosplay IN. There is a clear TikTok, if that doesn't get shut down again, is Casually Cosplaying. I'm here. Get used to it. I'll be at ICCC, the Star Wars convention here in Middle Tennessee, Nashville area, just the Saturday. I believe that is next Saturday. So what is that? The 18th, if I'm doing my math.
Wait,
right?
you'll actually be at a con? What?
17th.
Next Saturday, the 17th.
May 17th.
Yeah.
There we go. I counted a day wrong. I'm tired.
How about that?
I've been working a lot of overtime for free.
Yeah.
So. Gotta love it. Unpaid overtime.
That man's never free.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Tough. Got to catch up on work for other people. So it is what it is.
You are a good man. You are a good
you
man.
are.
That is my motto. There you go. I'll sign off with this. Try.
Do or do not. There is no try. No. You can find me obviously Shadow Creators Entertainment on IG, Facebook, Twitch, right here at YouTube. Also, like I said, I mentioned earlier, the main channel, Shadowverse Comics. What ifs are coming. I am in the process of recording them now. Matter of fact, I'm recording tomorrow, and then the editing process begins. Dear Lord. But yeah, man, we are in unprecedented times right now. Stuff is just ridiculous, and all I can continue to say is just be awesome. Don't be a dick. Be awesome. And yeah,
in the words of Becky Moon from the movie Semi Pro. Everybody loved everybody.
Everybody loved everybody.
Hell yeah! And with that being said, may the power protect you. May the force be with you. For the glory, and have the best day possible. See ya.
I'm very confused.